I just want every girl to know that grief does not have to be the end of your story. Let me tell you, my grief took me from a trying time to a celebration of triumph.
Wow.
Okay? So stay with it, y'all.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Tiff.
And this is
BOSSiS,
where ambition meets sisterhood.
and you hear real stories from boss women in leadership and business.
The highs, the lows, and everything in between.
Every boss has a story, so let's get into it. Today, we have the opportunity to talk with a media personality that does know a thing or two about grief. Welcome, T.
Hey,
How are you?
our fellow bosses.
Yes. And Winchester University alumni.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. So
Yes.
we outside. We
Dance
outside.
team. All
Yes.
right.
All of it.
We was dancing more.
Yep. Welcome. We are so happy to have you here. And we just want to talk to you today and find out more about your story. Talk about your story, your journey. Who are you? Who is Tiajana?
Oh my gosh. That's the question I get asked all the time. Who is she, right? So I guess to basically sum it up, it's, a black girl from Philly who basically used her journey to put herself where she is today.
Okay.
Basically grew up being a creative and didn't even really know that I was a creative.
Wow.
So my mom bought me my first computer when I was 8 years old. And she was like, listen, you gonna do your homework on here, you gonna type your papers, you gonna do all your projects. And I'm like, at 8, we in the 3rd grade, why am I typing my homework?
Right.
You know? And she was like, come on, we gonna do this. So I was like, why is she so jealous?
Right.
So extra about my homework assignments, we gotta have the best project results and everything. And I was like, oh, you know what? She knew what she was doing.
She knew who you were before you knew who you were, girl.
Yes. She knew exactly what she was doing. And I was like, you know what? But I really didn't get to tap into that until I was an adult.
Wow.
So thankfully, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pursue this creative thing.
Yeah.
And I got into events.
Wow.
Ooh.
What was your first event?
Church events.
Okay.
So like, little Halloween, harvest time events.
Yep.
The holiday gift things,
Yep.
things like that. And I did that for a little bit. And I said, oh, you know what? I think I kind of want to dip outside of church.
Right.
So people hire me for birthday parties. And then I started getting into engagements and then weddings and things like that. And then I was working a corporate job and I had a client and I had to leave during lunch, right?
Oh, wow.
I don't know if a lot of people really know this story. I left during lunch to meet him at a hotel. He was a doctor from Nigeria.
Okay.
Who his wife wanted to have an American wedding.
Oh, wow.
So they was already married over in their country, but she wanted to have an American wedding, so she wanted to have this whole thing. And when he gave me that check,
You said this was what I want to do.
yeah.
You knew that thing was there.
I said, ooh, I'm gonna have to put in a 60-day with my job because you just paid me something that all I had to do was show up.
Wow.
Yes.
And then I left my job, yo. It was hard.
Right.
It was hard.
How'd you make that decision? Like, I know the money was great, but were you scared? Like,
Heck yeah, I was scared.
Yeah.
I had to have a lot of conversations with a lot of important people. I was like, listen, I'm not gonna have no health insurance like that.
Yep, that's important.
I'm not gonna have a consistent paycheck.
Yep.
So I'm gonna have to ride this thing out until I feel like I wanna go back to work.
did anybody
That's what
tell
I
you
wanna
not
do.
to do it?
Of course, you got the people
Yeah, of
that
course.
tell you that,
Right, of course.
you shouldn't do it. It's not something that's stable because you're going to have some downtimes with event planning.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably not having events
Right.
during
Yeah.
the beginning of the year.
And they're placing their fears on you.
For sure.
But
Right.
one thing that you said that I really like is you ask questions, right?
Yep.
You didn't just hop out and do it. You talk to people, you use your resources, you got some feedback. That's
Yeah.
really important because
It
some
is.
people don't do that.
Nope. They don't. They don't ask questions. And that's the most important part because it's like, how do you navigate this space
Yep.
when you don't have to do it with a blindfold on?
Yeah.
All
So-
the resources and everything is there for you.
I guess my question is, you talked about how you got into events, but how'd you get to media? What led you there? I'm just curious.
Girl,
One thing led to another.
listen, it's literally a whole process. So as I was doing events, I didn't want to be behind the scenes no more. I wanted to be like kind of in the forefront.
Love
I wanted
it.
to be like the networker.
Visibility.
So I said, all right. So then I tapped into graphics because, people needed invitations.
For
they
sure.
needed all that kind of stuff. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I sat down with one of my sweetheart sisters, and she was like, see, you be talking all the time. I said, what I be talking about?
And you have personality.
Yes.
Your personality
Yes.
is like, oh my God.
Yes.
What do I be talking about? She like, girl, what they used to say when you was back at school. So they used to call me the little Westchester Wendy. Like, I knew everything. And I'm all like, what you talking about? You got all the tea. I'm like, no, I don't have no tea. People just feel like they can open up to me.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Yes.
So I said, well, you know what? I do want to, let's see if I can start this little podcast situation.
Yeah.
So I said, well, what we going to call it? So I said, well, I want something with purpose. She was like, well, I like purpose. And then, you be with all the bosses. So purposely bossing up. I was like, that's it right there.
Yes.
That's it. And then it just took off from there.
Love it.
Literally started that in 2016.
What is your content?
So my content is basically I highlight entrepreneurs, community advocates. Wherever you see you have purpose, I'm interviewing you.
Oh, wow.
It's not nothing really like a real niche. Now, I do have like theme months. But outside of that, we have conversations. The conversations that people don't want to have.
People don't want to talk about. I love that.
They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to put their business out.
So talk about, I know we talked about grief a little bit when we opened up. Grief, where are we at with that? Where are you at with that?
I am definitely in a better space. I always tell people between the ages of 23 and 30 is a blur.
Yeah.
Is completely a blur. Those who don't know, I lost my mom in 2009. And I'm the only child. So it was definitely a struggle. You talking about God taking your best friend, right? So I navigated that space, tapped into some things I wasn't supposed to, knowing I wasn't supposed to, and did it anyway. But that was how I was coping at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
But it allowed me to really understand who I am as an individual. I tested my faith real bad. Stopped going to church. I was asking God a lot of questions, like, why me? Why did you do this? It was just like a lot of turmoil, a lot of bad influence. All these things played a part with me. And I was like, you know what? I got to get myself together.
Right.
So around like 28, 29, I started coming back to who I am. So it gave me time to figure out who I am because I took care of my mom for so long. Like my mom got injured on the job when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
So I literally was a caregiver the majority of my childhood, almost all the way into adulthood. And just figuring that out was hard because I even as an adult now, I really sit back and think like, did I really have the childhood that I really was supposed to have?
Wow.
Like I was always an A-B student. I traveled the world with my mom. Like I did all the great things, but I was like, was I really a kid?
Because you had responsibilities.
Because you have adult responsibilities
Exactly.
of that, right?
So I'm like, I don't really know, and I really don't care now, but it's just like, like a thought in your head. Like I wonder if things happen just a little bit differently.
Would this be different?
What would it look like? So basically I said, you know what? God did me a favor when he took her back. Because if she would have been still here, I probably would have been still taking care of her.
Right.
So I had to shift my mindset when it came to my grief and how I was coping in order to get where I am now. Because I'm not going to let that hold me back. There's no days that I don't miss my mom or, experiences that my mom won't be there for. Like when I had my first child or when I get married. But I got to take that as a grain of salt.
Exactly.
So, I do know that I do have a support system that is there to help me navigate that space. So grief is everything for me now. Healing and just creating communities for women to get through those stages in their lives. So through my mom's death, I actually created a community on Facebook called the White Rose Society. And that's for women who have lost their mom or a mother-like figure.
Oh, wow.
So we're there basically supporting each other, making sure, checking in. And sometimes there's moments where we just quiet.
Yes.
We don't say nothing.
It's needed.
But we respect that with each other. And then we tap in, like, definitely now, like, during the holidays.
Right.
Tapping in, how y'all feeling? Do you need any support?
Right.
We even have girls that go with other girls to the cemeteries. It's just all kinds of things that kind of bring us together because we have that same experience.
I love that.
So it works for us. But I'm all about grief and healing.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
You don't realize how many people are healed or touched or, just inspired by your story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even right here on our show right
For sure.
now. I'm sure there's that one person, maybe 2, 3, 4, who are like, wow, I never thought that grief could be
Positive.
a stepping stone and be positive. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What would you say were 3 things that really kept you through all of that you were going through?
Belief in myself. Because if I didn't believe in myself, Lord knows where I would be.
Right.
Faith in God after I apologized because I had to say sorry, Lord. I'm
out
sorry.
here living a life.
I'm sorry. I really didn't mean it. I knew you knew before I knew,
Right.
but
And he knew you was coming.
exactly. He like, let me give us some time to get us all
Right.
together. And like I said, support.
Yeah.
Support is definitely very, very, very important, no matter what it is,
Right.
grief or if you're just going through life challenges every day.
Right.
You need support.
Indeed. What do you think women would benefit from joining your group or listening to your platform?
I think they will understand that it's okay to not be okay. You don't have to have everything together to execute. You know, even if you feel like you're lacking the resource is technically there.
Indeed.
I always hear, you know, God gives you everything that you need. It's just moments in time where you'll cross the path to get the resource or the service. So you have to utilize your network. And that's what it is. If you got to talk to people, ask your community, do what you need to do to get all the services that you need in order to be better.
Yeah.
Be a better individual, because who want to be stuck?
I think we've talked about that on a previous episode. We talked about women trying to operate by themselves.
No.
It doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work. You need a community. You need a sisterhood. You need people to support you. So thank you for saying that.
Yes.
Definitely.
'Cause being stuck ain't it.
Yep.
I don't want to be stuck.
So what's next? Like, what do you see yourself doing next? Where are you going? What are some of your goals for the new year?
Oh my gosh. So one of my goals for the new year, don't nobody know yet. Is that I'm putting together a mini docu-series.
Love it.
It's going to be called The First Pew. And that's also a documentary about being on the first pew. Nobody wants to be on the first pew.
No.
Wow. I want to go to the back. I'm in the back.
If I could choose my seat, I would go to the back too. Okay. And it's going to be a variation of individuals and their experience being in the first pew, whether it's the first time they're in the first pew, repetitive times in the first pew, they're as support in the first pew, like they're not directly the individual, you know, connected to the individual, but they're there for support. So it's a variation. It's going to be like 8-10 episodes, and I'm really excited for that.
I love that. Any trips back to Essence? Because I saw you were at Essence.
Yes, ma'am.
I know any trips
I will be back this year.
Yes.
I will be there again next year coming up, and trying to contemplate whether or not I'm going to actually co-produce an event or not.
Okay.
Or just go as a regular spectator again.
Well, tell us about your Essence experience.
Tell us about it. I want to hear.
Media tea? Or
So this year I kind of went in both capacities.
Okay.
So I went as media, but kind of not like as media,
Right.
but also went as a regular attendee. But I feel like New Orleans is like my second home. So when I go down there, I'll be in the trenches.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, wow.
I go down there, I'll be like, oh, whatever y'all doing, I'll meet y'all at the convention center.
Right.
Whatever it is. But in the media capacity, it's always a good time. But I always tell people now that I've been several times as media, you don't technically need to be media to see the people.
Right.
These people is literally walking around in the convention center.
They really are.
And if
I've
you-
had one experience, and you were absolutely right. You see them there.
Yeah,
like they're with the people.
there.
Yeah,
You don't really care if you want to get a little drop, you get a little interview in real quick,
Right.
you can.
Yes.
So it's really not that hard, but I always tell people the jewels and the people that you need to meet are outside the convention center.
Yeah.
So I go to a lot of independent events.
Okay.
That are not associated with Essence Festivals.
Right.
So those are the places where you get to really, really meet the people.
Right.
But yeah, it's always a good little time. You get to eat, of course, you eat good.
I love it. I love
so,
it. I
you
love
know,
it.
networking is what I do.
Can
so.
you talk about the power of networking? I think that we use that word a lot. Networking, networker. But what does that mean? What does it mean, and what can it do for you as an entrepreneur?
It means intention. Everything you do in networking has to be intentional, because the relationships you want to build from networking, you want to be long term.
Right.
But sometimes some things are short, but that's because they are intentionally supposed to be short,
Right.
not because, oh, we got into an argument, so I'm cutting you off.
Right.
It's all about knowing what brand you represent, because like I said, today I can be a media personality, tomorrow I can be a media strategist. I don't know. You know, whatever hat you're wearing, but you need to know what hat you're going to wear when you step into some of these spaces. So if you're going to, let's say, a corporate networking event, I might not be a media personality that day.
Correct.
Right.
I might be the community awareness coordinator for the
I'm so
nonprofit.
glad you said that.
Okay.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm a person that does a lot of things too.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes I struggle with figuring out, what do I want to be today? So I'm really glad that you've had that experience. And in 2026, I'm hoping that I can figure out how to manage that, because it's something that I really haven't figured out yet.
Yeah,
So,
you just gotta know. One day you might be a content creator, or next time you might be an influencer, or it just depends. So, like I said, you gotta know what hat to wear, but knowing who to talk to. do a little research about the event you're going to be at. Even if it's the first time, you know, look at their social media or on the website where you may have to purchase a ticket to figure out who might potentially be in the room.
Right.
So then you can kind of prepare yourself
That's the preparation
for who's going to be in the room,
good.
the conversations you're going to have, and, oh, I got an idea. Who can I propose this idea to?
What does follow-up look like after you meet somebody at a
You
networking?
better email them.
Okay,
Sometimes
got it.
I'm emailing them while I'm at the event. Or I'm getting in the car and I'm like, oh yeah, remember I met you at the blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And that's what it is. And even sometimes it's even best to even meet with people and actually have something in common.
I love
so
it.
when I went to Essence one time, we went to a press conference right before the festival actually started.
Okay.
And a lady was there and she was talking about how she was the brand new VP of the organization. And I'm like, oh, she dope. And then she talked about how she was from New York. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's still like the tri-state area. So after the conference was over, we were talking and she was like, oh yeah, my grandpa from Philly. He from Germantown.
Oh, wow.
All that kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, now we can relate with something.
Right.
So when I reached back out to her, I was like, girl, remember me? You know, your grandpa over there in Germantown.
I love it.
So it's those type of things that kind of brew really, really good relationships and kind of get you set up for whatever is in, you know, in the future for you.
Do you feel like your networking experience has elevated where you are now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for a lot of people, I would not be where I am today. Even with starting that podcast, if I didn't have my good sis tell me like, all right, this is what you need to do. You need these contracts. You need this, that, and the third. You got NDAs because now you're interviewing celebrities. Like, there's a lot of things that have to take place. And I'm like, if she wasn't around to kind of give me that foundation, I would have just been out here doing whatever.
Wow.
Okay, so wait, I have a question. If you could go back to your younger self and give yourself advice, what would you say?
I would tell her that your awkwardness and your being Joe is going to pay. It's going to pay off. It's going to pay
Did y'all
off.
hear that? Did you hear that? It's okay to be Joe.
It's going to pay off.
Yes. Seriously, that's the thing with a lot of women, especially the younger women. Mom, you too Joe. I hear my daughter say this to me all the time. You Joe. What you mean, Joe? Like that helps. You have
Or
to
I don't want to be Joe.
Yes.
Don't talk to him. I don't want to be Joe.
Yes.
Yes.
You just missed your opportunity.
Yep.
You don't want to leave that
I
on the
love
table.
it. I love it.
Don't leave
I
it on the
love it.
table.
That's right.
Thank you, T, for coming. We are just so thankful that you got to share some
Yes.
jewels with us. First of all, let me just say this. So I met her in ADP at Westchester.
Yes.
I was 2 years older than her, and
Yes,
I am so
ma'am.
glad to see your growth.
Yes. It's a full circle moment.
It's
Okay.
just a full circle moment.
I'm proud of y'all.
I was one of her mentors at ADP.
Yes.
So yes, we have a lot of history. And just
Yes.
to see where you are now, I'm super proud of you. Keep
Thank
it up.
you.
Keep
Yes,
going.
y'all keep it up.
And I have another question.
What?
me.
What makes you a bosses?
Yes.
Leading with integrity and knowing my worth. Because in the media space, this is going to be real transparent right here. In the media space, they categorize African Americans. And it's very hard for us to move forward. So if I'm doing red carpet at the Grammys, it's more than likely they're going to stop at the Caucasian people. Then they are going to stop at the African American individuals. And then we have to be Joe so we can get their attention so they can even come over and do a little 2-second interview with somebody. So being and leading with integrity is the most important part, but knowing your worth. Like, okay, you're not going to downplay me.
That's right.
Like, I worked hard to get here.
Right.
Like, application after application, and now finally here.
Yes.
So do what you need to do
Yes.
and stand firm
See,
because
that's what they say.
don't let them talk about you like that.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Thank you again for coming. And don't forget to stay boss, sis.
Stay boss. That was so cute.